This is the 2015 Senior External Exam for Physics in Queensland. We're looking at Paper 1, Part A, Section 2, Short Response, Question 5. First thing we do is we carefully read the question. Respond to this question on page 25 of your response book. Two in-phase point sources, A and B, generate waves as indicated in the diagram below. A, place an arrow labelled X pointing at a point of maximum destructive interference, and B, place an arrow labelled Y pointing at a point of maximum constructive interference. Okay, we've read the question. Now we've got to go back through and identify the really important pieces of information. Two in-phase point sources, A and B. So there's A and there's B, our point sources. Generate waves as indicated in the diagram below. Part A, place an arrow labelled X, so we want to have labelled X, pointing at a point of maximum. Now that's got to be destructive interference, is part A. And then for part B, we need to place an arrow and we need to label it Y, pointing at a point of maximum constructive interference. Okay, we're ready now to do the question. Let's draw any important pieces of information that we need. And so with destructive interference, the thing with destructive interference is it is a crest and a trough meeting to give us flat. For the second part, that's part A. For the second part, part A. For the second part, which is part B, we're looking at constructive interference. With constructive interference, you have a crest plus a crest giving a double crest, or we have a trough plus a trough giving a double trough. Now, with our particular diagram here, we can see that our straight lines here are crests and our dotted lines are troughs. So therefore, for destructive interference, what we're looking for is a crest crossing with a trough, like so. For constructive interfering, we're looking at either two crests, like so and like so, or we're looking for two troughs, like so and like so. Okay, we've now got to decide how we're actually going to do this on our particular graph. So let's look at point A. We want to place an arrow and label X at destructive. So destructive is going to be a crest and a trough. So I'll just pick here a place where there is a crest coming from B and there's a trough coming from A, so that there's going to be destructive interference. So I'll draw an arrow through, place an arrow labelled X at a point of maximum destructive interference. So there's our destructive interference, like so. So that's part A. Point Y, maximum constructive interference. So I'm going to choose a point where there are two crests. Here's a point here where there's a crest from A and another crest here from B. And so I can put my arrow through to there. And I want to label that point Y, give that a B. Let's go through and have a look here at the end. Does my answer make sense? Quickly going back over it. Place an arrow labelled X for destructive. X is destructive, yes, I've got a crest and a trough. Place an arrow, label it Y, yes, pointing to a point of maximum constructive. So I've got two crests there, that will be constructive. So I'm comfortable there that I'll get the 2 marks for this particular question. This question is worth 2 marks. You score 1 mark for the correct positioning of X and 1 mark for the correct positioning of Y, giving you your 2 mark total.